together to co-create a breakthrough for freedom of energy, sustenance, healing, and regeneration of the human vessel. Welcome to F.E.S.I.G, the Free Energy Special Interest Group, where science meets spirituality in the quest for truth and knowledge to free humanity and transform this planet into a paradise.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to F.E.S.I.G meeting, the second session. Today is the 3rd of July, the eve of Independence Day. So we have Adam Apollo speaking in the first session. Now we're going to have Mike Emery speak. And before that, I just have to quickly share screen again and quickly go through the agenda of the 66 meeting. Okay, we have Adam speaking just now, and now the second session, we have one of the most thought-provoking quantum physicists, Mike Emery, talking about the orgone bubble tech that he developed with his partners and more. And after this meeting, we will be adjourning to it will be adjourned to the 67th F.E.S.I.G meeting on the 7th of August, 2019. So folks, be on the lookout for the 7th of August. Okay, we're gonna have more amazing new speakers coming up. That's it. Okay, so I'm going to do an introduction to our illumined speaker today, and I'm going to have I'm going to introduce Mike Emery properly to you before he takes over the microphone. He's one of the most brilliant quantum physicists, Mike Emery, whose essays earned him a place at the first 1/10 of the top 1% of the scientific community at www.academia.edu. This link is accessible in F.E.S.I.G's website. Okay, when I announce the speakers, I always put their site links to their name. So if you hover the mouse over their name, you'll be able to get the website and possibly even contact them. So academia is actually used by academics at 12,357 universities. Mike will be speaking about the historic technology, the orgone bubble tech he developed with his partners. The tech installs euphoria, he says, and even telepathy in everything. It cleans the aethers, thus cleaning everything in a very large area. He can explain how the universe is constructed. The aethers with an anu in every other cell is the uniform field that differentiates as we travel through it. All things blink in and blink out of this RAM, he says. Here you have the EM sequence of events that has to occur as 3D matter manifests holographically from the 2D mind of God. He will touch on Viktor Stepanovich Grebennikov, anti-gravity and levitation platforms. He will espouse on Victor Schwaberger's observations of the effects of nature, the water vortex. Regarding project funding, he will speak of the new financial system that he's very connected to the top. So there you are. Here's Mike Emery for you. Mike, over to you.
Howdy, guys. Everybody okay? We awake?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, bubble tech. Bubble tech is save the planet stuff. Since we started in May of last year, there has not been one hurricane make landfall as a hurricane. They all convert to tropical storms. Bubble tech is a technology that allows humans to implant their ideas, seeds of consciousness at seed level, and make things happen. Like really mind-boggling stuff. Like cut the power bill in some cases to a third of what it was. Just because the bubbles are running, the power bill to the house is a third of what it was. This is the gas mileage on the cars. Now, one guy in the States, use your car every day. I filled my car up a month ago. It's still over 3/4. with no explanation other than the bubble genie doing it. And we've had miraculous healings where two cases that I can only tell you this much about, and we have all the other information. But it's too dangerous to let this out, more than what I'm going to tell you.
Mike, I need to interrupt you a little bit because you said you want to have a picture of well, the picture to introduce your talk, the general patterns picture. Okay.
Yeah, you can put that up
Yeah.
for just
Okay.
a
I'm
minute.
doing it now. Yeah. There you go. Do you want to talk about this?
Yeah, the talk tonight is about hive mind and the discovery of the century, and in talking about hive mind, we are all controlled more than you like to think by hive mind, and so even that's the case, I have a guide from hive mind that is general pattern, and there's quite a bit of evidence of that. I learned to channel. When you learn to channel, you always ask, where's the information coming from? And you know straight away, you know immediately. It's a form of telepathy. When you're really fully telepathic, you're connected. It's you know where all this stuff comes from. But anyway, so General Patton is one of my guides, and I tend to talk like him, kind of like what's his name, George Carlin, and being a cowboy and a linebacker, I'm kind of that way. Heavyweight arm wrestling champion of Montana State University, undefeated. I'm that kind of a guy, linebacker. So I don't take any bullshit. Anyway, and I look for and I have fun. The way that I learned how the universe is constructed is by tracking down the skid marks. Like one of the skid marks that we have is a really big one. The carbon-oxygen antagonism. Oxygen destroys carbon, and that's the root of entropy and decay and predation and violence. And that violence goes on inside of our bodies, everywhere. And one of the places that violence occurs and is amplified is in the synaptic gaps of our batshit brain. The synaptic gaps of our brain actually create, amplify, and broadcast violence because of the carbon-oxygen antagonism going on in there. I've got an essay that explains it. And so therein lies human nature, is why we battle one another, because of this, this feeling that we're going to die. and so we take it seriously and think that we need to protect our patch and so on and so forth. And you wind up in, the situation we got, which is basically an entertainment system. This whole multiverse, the whole thing is one entertainment system, one of many. That in my stuff you'll find that this multiverse very clearly is a product of trial and error, and it has to do with the way the archons, the add-ons to the archons. The archons are stupid, and there's no way they came up with the ideas. So we added them on. The same like the carbon-oxygen antagonism. Whose idea was that? Here where we're at, the ethers, the lines of the ethers are piezoelectric green. That's where it comes from. The human eye is like something 20 or 30 times more sensitive to the color green than any other color. And the reason is because it's the root color. It's the color of the ethers. It was the root color, and it looks like it's changing now with bubble tech. But the ethers are made out of love. It's a heart chakra energy. It's that color, piezoelectric green. And so, excuse me, how is it that we created a skid mark here with love as a building block? Oh yeah, thanks, Chewy. And yeah, you can see the piezoelectric green in there. There is the first ever photo of light as a particle and a wave. Okay, and they're very obviously traversing the rectangular ethers. The ethers were square, but they become rectangular because the information traveling through them stretched them. Okay, and so that's what you wind up with. That is not exactly how nature does it, because you got the anu in every cell. And the reason you have the anu in every cell is the way they did captured the photo, because they forced the photons to slow down with electrons. There's electrons behind that, a matrix of electrons. And it was able to, they did it in Italy, of all places. But it is a photo of what's there in nature. And I can explain it ad nauseum, but the main thing is layers of consciousness, like Adam was talking about. There they are, layers of consciousness. Well, you get down to the bottom, then you get down towards Planck length, you get into the square ethers, and then you wind up at the circular ethers, you know. And at that point, you are at Planck length, and you're right next to the void, you know, or darkness, complete darkness, and complete darkness via bubble tech is where we go. We are able to install our ideas way below the bottom of that sequence of colors is darkness. And that's where everything starts. All seeds germinate in darkness, period. All ideas are conceived in darkness, period. Darkness is where everything comes from, including us. What's his name? Edgar Casey, you know, laid it out that all human consciousnesses, the way he said it, started at the same time in chaotic darkness. But the truth is, all human consciousnesses start right now, every microsecond, in chaotic darkness. And the way that we start is the exact same way God starts. I am that I am. And then that builds up in these four-sided ethers where there's no time. Well, you get into time when you got light, okay? But down the four-sided, the square ethers, there's no time. It's just darkness. And so everything happens instantly, like that. And because there's no time. It's just like, how do you get anywhere in space and time instantly? What you do with the Tesla Neutron, by the way, has no control system other than your mind. Okay? And you can look it up, Tesla Neutron. There's all kinds of information on it out there. And it goes anywhere in space and time instantly. And so, you know, space and time is not matter. It's consciousness. And we made it. We made that matrix. We were involved in making everything. You know, because we go, I am that I am, just like God. So we're all gods. You do it every microsecond. And then you and us and we all create this skid mark for entertainment purposes, and that's what's going on here. And why entertainment? Because we are painfully bored with continuous orgasm and all knowingness. All knowingness is a little hard to get away from, you know, and that's why we created suffering. It creates separation, which is a holiday for an all-knowing idiot. You know, and the idiots that are us, okay, that made us, there's a God type thing going on, which is this hive mind that we're going to discuss further, right? Is your pure consciousness. We're all involved in it from the same place, chaotic darkness. Now, let me introduce you to your pure consciousness. Have you ever noticed that you were thinking? So, excuse me, who noticed? Answer, the part of you that doesn't think, no remote. Pure consciousness. It's the ultimate observer. Everything just passes through. That's pure consciousness. And we all have it. Now, that pure consciousness is basically the Godhead of ideas that have been implemented like a movie, you know, a little bit at a time. But we can't do it by ourselves because as pure consciousness, nothing sticks. That's a definition of an idiot, no memory, you know, and that's what we're born from, is that idiot. And that idiot has set up control systems that control the flight of electrons and every grain of sand on the beach. And you'll learn that as we get deeper into this hive mind thing. It's a little amazing. Yeah, it's hard to believe, that we are so controlled, and it's just basically a holodeck connected to a jukebox that replays and replays and replays the exact same thing over and over again. Okay, so we can break out of hive mind with bubble tech and orgone energy in general, which is deadly simple. Yeah, thanks. Honeycomb, the hexagonal ethers is where the manifest universe is. The four-sided ethers, like that you showed earlier, is where the images come from that are converted to 3D in the hexagonal ethers. The electromagnetic sequence of events whereby image information in the four-sided ethers is converted to 3D matter is laid out in my writings perfectly, exactly. There's no wiggle room on it. And the reason there's no wiggle room on it is because it works, it's obvious, and there's only one rule, because matter doesn't exist, it's all consciousness. And so matter obeys one rule, and that is, I am that I am, which is like attracts like, or mirroring the holographic nature of this universe and the fractal, continuously replicating aspect of it. Okay, all right, Shui, so let's get into this. The discovery of this century. That's not my title. That's Bruce Lipton and Greg Braden's title. The discovery of the century is this hive mind that we're just talking about. They have different ways of saying it, but they did come up with the discovery of the century. I added the matrix is disclosed. We are in a matrix, and we have here with Bubble Tech how to get out of it. So I'm just going to read this to you and throw some of my comments in. But this is so important. This is just exactly like it says, the discovery of the century. It's actually the biggest discovery ever, because had it ever happened before, if euphoria had ever been installed, we'd know. It's a completely different system. You'll learn. It's changing the color spectrum. You'll learn. It really is. Okay? Right now, color spectrum changing. This is happening. Okay? And the beginning of freedom is learning, admitting that we're micro-controlled puppets, and here's how that's easily accomplished. The beginning of freedom is admitting that you're involved in hive mind. That's Eckhart Tolle. Eckhart Tolle was asked, where do thoughts come from? And his answer was, they come from hive mind. It's not personal. Because the reason it's not personal is it's just entertainment for everybody. And this is the truth. It is. That's what's going on. Okay. So it is without doubt that humans are puppets of a hive mind, which is our collective subconsciousnesses. Since matter does not exist, everything is composed of matrix that is changeable and has been imagineered into the skid market. Idiotsville. Excuse me, why? Sad answer, entertainment via separation, like suffering, okay? Because continuous orgasm and all-knowing are painfully boring. So, impose the extremes of love and fear onto a living system to observe the permutation. Come up with new masochistic ideas. We did that. As pure consciousnesses, plural. Committees are required to create war. Death of our human puppet is a kick-ass rush ride for our pure consciousnesses. An audio explanation of pure consciousness right there. It's hilarious. Our pure consciousness is not at all like you think it is. I've just introduced you to it. It's an idiot. And it's really obvious it's an idiot. So this one gets me. Our puppet bodies, human bodies, are infinitely aware. Okay, so I'll add some detail. Kinesiology, 10 years, 10 American universities, 20 million muscle tests later, all summed up with this one sentence. The human body will answer perfectly any yes or no question on any subject. That's infinite awareness. The Russian mirrors, when you get them put together right, and Nostradamus' mirror, you put yourself into one of those systems, and whether you want to or not, you will see your past, present, and future. It's involuntary, like the Russians say. Okay, so if you're able to see your past, present, and future, where's that information come from? And the answer is, it comes from your DNA. It comes from your body. It has all that information. And our past, present, and future is broken up into 48-minute sequences of events that are all stored in an anu, the size of which fits around our current human bodies, and that's the number of anus that are with us all the time is our past, present, and future, broken up in 48-minute sequences. All that information is with us. We're stuck in that. That's hive mind. It's predetermination. Yeah. Okay. And then the last one is the Max Planck Institute. Yeah, the human body is aware of exactly what the mind is going to decide up to 7 seconds beforehand. You can look that up. So, excuse me, the human body knows that a death event's coming, like, for example, a bomb going off. You got 7 seconds to get your ass out of there and you don't do it? No, excuse me. So, right there, who's a fucking idiot? Our hive minds for being a sicko desperately in need of entertainment, or our meek bodies who willingly die for the cause. The show must go on. It's like a Peter Sellers Pink Panther movie. Everybody knows what's going to happen, including us, but we do it anyway. Hilarious. Actually, it seems to be the extreme of chivalry, really. All what we see has an anu, the two male forms of God around it. And you'll see that, if you look at my stuff, you'll find the anu really is the God particle, big time. It acts as a pixel within the screen. Like Chewy said, the background screen is the ethers with an anu populating every other cell of it, because you got to have a mirror. The mirror's off, and so you have a gap in the mirror. There's always a gap. There's no 0 point. There's always a gap. There's no 0 point. Even the waveforms don't cross the x-axis. They blink out. The physicists used to call it the half integer area. It's actually 1/3 integer area. And the 1/3 integer area, the sign of which is 19.5 degrees. Every orb in this solar system has an anomaly at 19.5 degrees. The red spot on Jupiter, Hawaii, and so on. There's a ring of turbulence at 19.5 south on Saturn, and so on. It's the coordination point, the black hole, where everything coordinates through, coordination point, like what Don Juan called coordination points that they were able to use back in those days. So anyway, two male forms of God, including, the around it with the things that you may know for entertainment, dying for the cause, including you, maybe. We might transcend death in our fine bodies, euphorically, highly likely. I have that technology. There are at least 9 different physical age regression technologies that I'm aware of, the oldest of which is Kaya Kalpa, which has been around for thousands of years. You put yourself in the hole of the ground for 40 days, and you come out with new skin, new teeth, new hair, and a new body that you can get. The yogis have been doing this for thousands of years. Kaya Kalpa, Kaya-Kalpa, Kaya Kalpa. Okay, well, so what is that does that? The answer is it's a uniform field. And when you connect up with the field, it's infinite. And so you get infinite energy from an infinite uniform field. All of the different fields are, well, we think of them as being uniform. They actually do have boundaries. But, each etheric field is a 2D etheric field. And in the four-sided ethers, when you get into hexagonal ethers, you get into 3D, but it's still, the background screen is still 2D. It gets stretched and twisted. The hexagonal ethers, you can see them twisted. Look at the sunflower, it twisted it up. And why? Because of the information flowing through there, the images. In those anus in there are pixels, which gather information, let go of information. They don't let go of it quick enough. And so so it stretches the ethers. The reason they don't let go of it quick enough is because it's fouled with losh, with negative energy. If it was all just love-based and everything was just acceptance, it would be kind of a stasis, the dream time. You wind up in a kind of stasis. That's where we're headed, but a different kind of dream time this time. But there's been more than one dream time on this planet, as well as there have been 23 different species of humans by genetic evidence that have populated this planet, mostly giants. Excuse me, where are they? There's been 5 mass extinction events that they have studied pretty extensively. 100,000 mammals through up to 5 extinction events. Those 100,000 mammals, 90% of the DNA blinks out, gone during the extinction event. And during the Genesis event, quite a while later, because normally a nuclear holocaust that wipes it out, which is what happened on Mars, okay, it blinks back. Now, the geneticists tried to say, well, at least 100 years. They could only find 20 years in their studies, to say that this, and the only reason they found 20 years is for the same reason that the linear accelerator experiments at CERN replicated the idiot's ideas of what was going to happen. And ever since in the 1920s, they've known that consciousness forms matter and forms ether, and then Max Planck said as much. And what do? We continue on with the bullshit. I mean, it's just unbelievable. It's all consciousness. Matter doesn't exist. Anyway, that's very straightforward. And the more you get into my stuff, and especially when you toggle the anu, there's a huge one about the anu. What you're talking about microtubules and the tubules in the pentagonal tubule is very right on. I like that little bit that Adam came up with. MIT found this. They don't talk about it much. I've got an essay on it. There are microtubules in everything. Everything that you see has a microtubule going through it. And everything that you see, that microtubule, is parallel. They're all parallel to one another. That's what they found. And inside of that microtubule, you have water acting as crosslinks, for like DNA. And the inside of that macrotubule can be pentagonal, but mostly is hexagonal. And I can show you pictures of it. And you can and I can show you a picture of a water molecule mirroring off to all 6 sides of the hexagon. But the flow of the water molecule kept on going, out the other side of it. And everything blinks in and blinks out. Everything teleports from A to B all the time because it has to blink in and blink out to skip across the ethers. And I can show you, it's in my writings. It's like teleportation is normal, as the essay lays that out. And without mystery, you can see it. All right, so so that's what's there. Is the microtubules are the center of the DNA part of the anu, and the DNA part of the anu that has the information. And then the outer part of the anu is the Shiva part, or the God the Father part. And that's the way that is better described in Hindu is being the destroyer form and ego. And what it really is just a pixel dissolving the image so I can get a new one. That's all it is. And so that's, and where it gets its information from to display is from hive mind, from these sequences of events that us as tribes of hive minds have created, like the carbon-oxygen antagonism. That was a tribe of idiots that created that for us to enjoy. I mean, you got a blank canvas. Why would you do that? Why would you create suffering? Why did you create the carbon-oxygen antagonism? Why? You do have to answer the question because it's there. Answer is bored, idiots. Anyway, fortunately, we are in the process of breaking out of the hive mind matrix, the result of which will be a wholesale change to this reality, including even changing the color spectrum. Euphoria wins. You can read that essay about the color spectrum. It is quite literally an EMP of light purple, and it's all over the world. The sunsets are no longer red; they're light purple, and that's worldwide. Okay. All right. Make no mistake, though, we are still in hive mind. Predetermined sequences of 3D events. That's a dream. Just like that's what the hive mind dream is a dream, but a dream that's been replayed innumerable times. But this one that we're in is dreamed up by our fine body's consciousness, now versus controlled by our masochistic pure consciousness. Hive minds that live in chaotic darkness and are the source of unloving ideas like death, the carbon-oxygen antagonism. God herself does not mind what her idiots get up to. Gee, thanks. It's just an entertainment system for her. Gee, thanks, Ma. The changeover to the new hive mind, our body's hive mind, occurred sometime before December 21st, 2012, when we should have had another mass extinction event. 90% of all DNA leaves comes back digitally perfect. That's the other thing about that, this essay, Genetic Proof of Repeat Performance. The DNA comes back exactly the same coding, carries the exact same set of movies that we installed so that we replay entire civilizations and histories. We're just continuous with always the same end result. Die, sucker. Everybody dies all along the way, including everything at the end. Right? 18 Jesus figures with mirror image lifetimes might be a clue. Oh, why? Okay, why? Because we think that we have manifest the best possible entertainment system, ain't it? Idiotsville. That's what we have here. It's an entertainment system. Everything in 3D with sharp defined edges is manifest by display of 2D images that we dreamed into being by committees, tribes of dreamers. 100th idiot effect always applies. Let me talk about the 100th idiot effect. Like Adam mentioned the 100th monkey effect and how that happens. Well, then he also got the Maharishi effect. And it as with the 100th monkey effect, when the final quantum is installed or assimilated into that hive mind idea that tribe is creating, bam, presto changeo, just like that. Another example is viruses. They can only get so big. And the reason they can only get so big is they can't outgrow their etheric cell that they're in. But when you get enough viruses together, they clump together and become a bacteria. And that's really, and I learned that from Bruce. It's just standard biology. But Dr. Bruce Lipton laid that out a while back. And I went, Bruce, do you know why the viruses don't grow? Everything else grows. It's mechanics, materials, grain growth. Everything grows. The air, the steel, the soil, everything grows. Except us. We're going backwards. Becoming smaller and dumber and weaker over a long period of time, humans have been doing. And by design, of course. Now, Idiotsville, we have here. And I can lay out exactly how that works. How our anodes have been decreased, made smaller by what I call Illuminati sex attacks. Any idea that you wane, wanes the person. Any idea that you wax, waxes the person. And you grow. But we don't do that. We have critics. Anyway, 100th idiot effect always applies. You can actually see the images produced by hive mind in this essay. Images that control every corpuscle in your body, the coins in your pocket, and all of the grains of sand on the beaches. It's a movie. To change one bit means changing the whole hive mind. All matter is in lockstep as part of the movie that up until recently, we had always meekly complied with. Die, sucker, die for the cause. It's not personal. Entertainment is paramount, and death is one of the best forms of such. Fucking idiots. Yeah, that's true. And we do it. You're doing it. You're sitting there thinking, yeah, I'm not going to die. Well, you're actually correct. You can not die. There are a lot of old guys on this planet. 2,000-year-old guys in China, Tibet, India, Nepal, Colombia, Scotland, Burma. They've been found in Burma. They're all over. There's a lot of them, and you can go. They're not that hard to find, but they're out there. Anyway, these guys are onto it now. The discovery of the century. This will change the entire humanity. Greg Braden and Bruce Lipton. That's what they say. There's their 10-minute video that says it. Okay. All right. So we'll get into that. And I lay out my stuff beforehand, but anyway, we are designer dummy puppets who have not one thought that passes through our batshit brain that's our own. According to Eckhart Tolle, it's not personal, it's just part of the show. And that's his video there, indexed to the right time, where you can hear him saying it, not personal. Don't worry about it. Your ego may feel it's a problem, but our pure consciousness think it's really cool if you suffer and die. Okay, why? Answer: boredom. Painfully bored gods we are. We will all have compassion for everybody and everything, even the rocks. It's all part of the play, including the dark dudes, cabal. It's Idiotsville that we installed over long periods of time, and it's just like a movie. You scene by scene, you make up the movie, and so you've got the Mayan calendar is you got the long count and the short count, and you got these sequences of events, and those sequences of events are the same, genetically perfect. We just changed the names to protect the idiots. Anyway, discussion. Dr. Bruce and Greg have toggled the hive mind. Maybe they may have read essays like, "Where is the human mind?" In no way connected to the body is that answer. Now, these guys say the mind is not even in the body. It's not entirely true. Hive mind runs a 2D shadow self that controls the flight of all the electrons in the body and all of our thoughts, as Eckhart Tolle advised. Those thoughts emanate from 2D, which has to be right with us and separate at the same time. Hive mind operates in 2D, and 2D controls 3D entirely. And that one, I'm afraid, is a full stop up until now. It looks like our 3D bodies can usurp the reins of reality via willful euphoria. And so, that's the neat thing about the bubble. It's not even willful. You get the bubble going, it will impose euphoria on you. Yeah, just like the Russian mirrors. You will see your past, present, future. You get enough bubble energy going around, you're going to be euphoric. And the magic is mind-boggling. And everything goes fuzzy. We get really heavy-duty bubble fields. Everything's fuzzy. The guys, you can bubble the foundation of your house. And the way that you bubble it is you just take a Tesla violet ray wand that you can get for 30 quid from Amazon. You touch it to the foundation of your house, and you got other orgone and other things going on. One of our guys, everything in the house has gone fuzzy. All the edges are fuzzy, and magic is continuous. And it's just amazing. It is quite literally a connection to manifestation at seed level, direct connection, because of the capacitance in the organic material. Wilhelm Reich's thing is just a capacitor in it. And so we've hugely amplified what he did. Instead of just having a plate, you take small, fine pieces of iron oxides or iron dust, and you mix that with sand and cement, and it binds together and creates what we call an organic device. We can't use Reich's word because the Nuclear Regulatory Commission is cracking down on that. Orgone causes radiation. Get this. I probably got this essay in here somewhere else, but I'm going to lay it on you now. We have a bubble that was in ground zero at the Paradise, California, where the directed energy weapons wiped out all the houses and stuff and basically took out the satanic community. But the bubble was there, and around the bubble for 100 feet, everything's greener. The directed energy weapon had not one. Well, what happened was that the bubble, being a capacitance field, absorbed the ionizing energy, converted it to capacity to enhance the charge accumulation on the metal bits in the organic mix. Okay, so hugely increased the capacitance field and created life force energy. So it took the energy of the directed energy weapon and converted it to life force energy. That is amelioration. That word is the word. And we can do that with any radiation, nuclear radiation, make a difference. The capacitor, in the field of capacitors, you have no vibrations. You got no cycles per second. And you got no cycles per second, you got no seconds. You got no seconds, you got no time. When you got no time, then you have either no time or all time. And that's what you have in the capacitance field. And the F.E.S.I.G effect, is really amazing about how they took this 20 years old. The F.E.S.I.G patented, irrefutable patented process, whereby you put seeds in a capacitance field, and it doesn't make any difference what kind of seeds. It can be genetically modified seeds. They will revert back to their aboriginal form on this planet, and they did that innumerable times. Started with wheat and spelts and ferns. I saw a thing recently where they said it started with ferns. I don't know. They did it with trout, polywogs. The trout that came back had a hooked nose and like a salmon, very aggressive. And times were tough back then. Anyway, so capacitance is a big deal. It's a connection to the mind of God. It's a connection to seed level. That's where the mind of God is, in darkness. Okay, so anyway, now that's an important point. Every 3D thing you see has a 2D image archetype behind it that is part of a collective dream that you can see. And then there's my essay, Mirroring is Real, is archetype to all things. That's correct. Okay. And then here's moving Kirlian photos in the 2D field that controls and manifests 3D thing that you can see. That's laid out in my other essay about hive mind. I did another one before this, and you can actually see it when you take a holographic projection. You know how a holographic diffusion pattern is made, but I'll just go through it real quickly. You take a laser, you split the laser. One part of the laser is the index ray that goes across the diffusion pattern that will become the holographic diffusion pattern. The other ray of the laser paints the subject, and the information then is gleaned from the subject and deposited onto the diffusion pattern, creating a series of smudges and whirls that has in it the diffusion pattern. Every bit of that transparency has all the 3D information about the subject, whatever it may be. Say it's a human. Okay, so you paint that, and so then if you take the transparency and you run a laser through it, it will, any part of it, you can break it into 100 pieces, and any parts you run through it will create the entire 3D light object. It causes the organized rays of the lasers to go out and intersect in space in such a way that it creates a 3D light optic, including the colors. But it's fuzzy. Okay? So why is it fuzzy? And the answer is because where it gleaned the information from was fuzzy. The information deposited on the transparency was not deposited there by the light rays, by the laser. That wasn't modulated. It's a laser. But what it is parallel. And so then where's the information? Answer: in between the lasers, in between the laser rays of the laser, in the gaps. And so that's why it's all over everywhere. The holographic principle also extends to entire multiverses. It's like Greg Braden laid that one out too. You know, that you have any one thing, the holographic principle, in the universe where the rule like attract like supply, you're going to get an entire multiverse. That's correct. And the exact electromagnetic sequence of events by which that happened, I have without wiggle room. Yeah, you know, and because it's only one rule. It's really simple. I am that I am. They don't follow the rule, and you got to follow the rule. Okay, everything starts seed and darkness, grows into fully sized images you can see by a series of quantum leaps. Like Adam said, the quantum leaps up through the octaves, and the colors that you saw before, they progress in size according to the Fibonacci series. Quantum leaps, different octaves, correct. Okay. Series of quantum leaps through the circular, square, rectangular, pentagonal, hexagonal, 7, 8-sided realms I know of. This excellent essay, How Images Traverse the Mind of God. Everything's in the mind of God. Some cleaning is required, but you can actually see it. You can get the idea, clearly idea of how an image starts as a seed and then grows, as it comes up through the ethers until, you get ready to broadcast it in the hexagonal ethers, and you need an emotion to tie it together, which is, he had that 5-sided emotion, the 5-sided, that's what ties 7 image-only realms to make one physical realm, and one 3D physical realm, 7 2D image-only realms to make one physical realm, and they're tied together with an emotion. And most of all of the emotions up until lately that have tied all of those memories and all that information together has been either love or something's happening here.
Mike, you're frozen.
Am I back?
No, we don't see you on the video, but we could still hear you.
Yeah,
I
I
think
don't know.
we don't have much time left. Yeah, now we got you back, but it's just as well because we have to end the meeting soon. Yeah. Do you want to finish everything that you need to say quickly in a minute or so?
Yeah. You want to save yourself and the entire rest of the planet? Get yourself into bubble tech.
Yeah,
and start having magic going on all around you all day, every day.
I'll show the proof of the magic, shall I? A
Yeah, if you
picture,
want. It's
uh,
mind-boggling.
two
It's every day.
photos.
You go on the Bubble Tech page on Facebook. It's every day. It's some mind-boggling thing all over the world.
I'm gonna show your picture, like for 5 years ago when I
Oh
last
yeah,
saw you, and the picture of you now. I mean, you're on video now. So this is testimony of how awesomely powerful this bubble tech is.
yeah. See that? See that? That's a 71-year-old idiot right there.
There you
Okay.
go.
Uh,
That was Mike, what, 5 years ago?
yeah, and I'm getting within Bubble Tech, we have a physical age regression technology that you can see.
It's you
My
now.
face
Yeah.
has a whole lot less wrinkles,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a real Emery trait that the wrinkles in the forehead, they're
Mm-hmm.
not all gone, but that's totally amazing. Yeah, it blows me away.
The
You know?
wrinkles and the saggy skin's all gone, and now it's tightened up, firm.
Yeah, it's we also have a free. There's a free energy device within Bubble Tech. Hey, get this. You know, we talked about Grebennikov.
Mm-hmm.
I had them add a Grebennikov structure underneath a very powerful bubble piece, and that Grebennikov structure is what was used to stop the clocks in the area, just like Grebennikov found.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the clocks stopped on 11:11. It still stopped, and so that cavity structure effect was placed underneath the bubble to cut off the 3D energy that is gravity. Gravity is a 3D energy. It's a there's a waveform to it. You know? And so you cut that off with the Grebennikov stuff because you want to be totally in 2D so you can manifest stuff. So we set a bubble thing on 9 layers of beeswax honeycomb between aluminum sheets that have been nano coated, which puts microtubules on the outside of them so they create electricity so that you enhance the capacitance effect between each layer of which is pretty trick, and then it has this effect. And the effect that it had is that we took a lady that was to have her leg amputated the following day. She sent her photo and hand wrote on the back of the photo in pencil her name, and that was put into this system that we got roughly 12 hours before she was to have her operation. She went in for the operation, no blood clots, no deep vein thrombosis, gone. She still has her leg. And then it happened to a guy, same thing with a cancerous tumor that was so significant they were going to surgically remove it, but they couldn't find it, so they didn't cut him open. That's what's happening with Bubble Tech. It's just some of the mind-boggling magic that's going on worldwide, and it's DIY. Any idiot can do it, and it's cheap. All you got to do is get a violet ray wand and a block of concrete to start, bubble it up, and away you go. You can feel it. Well, some people can't feel, and so we developed a chi activation exercise so that people can feel. But if you can feel, you feel it right away within seconds. The minute you touch the violet ray wand to your foundation or to a concrete block or a concrete paving strip in your house, wherever it is, seconds you'll feel it. If you feel, if you don't feel, then it'll be a while before you will. It'll take a while.
What did you say about the bubble tech turning around, transforming the 5G harmfulness into something beneficial?
Well, it ameliorates it. You get a bubble in any area. In all radiation is absorbed and ameliorated, and it is that with let's see, the U.S. military knew during Reich's time, and there's one of my essays says it's peace weapon, and you'll see there in the U.S. military knew during Reich's time that the orgone could stop wars. And the reason it could stop wars is you get it powerful enough, you defeat the carbon oxygen antagonism and polarity. And if you got no polarity, then you're not gonna be able to light the match, let alone fire a gun or even get an airplane to work or anything. No, that's dream time when you get to that point. And we're very close to that in some of the areas where these fuzzy images are all over. Everything's fuzzy. You know, and in small areas now, we're going to get them. We're going to get them into bigger areas. And what happens in those areas? There's no bad bugs, no mosquitoes, no flies, no midges. You know, no bad bugs. But you have bees and butterflies and ladybugs. They all show up. You also have what shows up: nature. It's like being inside the zoo. First of all, birds, they show up, and then everything else that's in the neighborhood will show up, you know, and hang out around the bubble, you know, because it's life force energy, and they know it. You know, and it's life force energy that can be broadcast. My bubble and other people's bubbles, there is no chemtrails as far as the eye can see. You can see planes going over, try to lay a chemtrail, and it disappears right behind the plane. So we're cleaning the air at innumerable, just right there in the back patio, you know, cleaning the air as far as you can see, and the water, the soil, the plants, the animals, and the idiots all along the way. Okay? Because
it reminds me of what you were talking about, the organ blasters, the love bombs you're saying. I mean, you throw it in an area, a war-torn area, and it's going to bring about disarmament and things like that. And bring.
Yeah, it takes quite a bit of power to do that. You know, you'd have to have a field that was been built up over a period of time, and then the folks inside that field can actually direct that energy, like to the Middle East. We can direct the energy to the Middle East and say, "Okay, idiots, be happy," and we can actually do that. You know, that's in the cards. Needs to be done.
Right. I think we have to open it to the floor now for Q&A session, right, James? Are you co-chairing the meeting right now? Because we have to wrap it up. Yeah, it's getting a bit long now. Yeah. James, over to you.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing your presentation. So does anybody have some questions for our guest? Not everybody at once.
Nobody believes in magic. If you want to die, no.
I have one, Mike. Do you combine the nanotechnology from Keshe and organ energy?
Yeah, we use Kesh stuff. You know, the Kesh. I know exactly how Kesh stuff works. Are you familiar a little bit with Kesh?
Yes, of course.
We all are.
Yeah, I got Mr. Kesh. I lived with Iranians. Okay, they'll tell you a lie when the truth would serve them better. And so what's happened is that Kesh has invented a whole genre of bullshit physics to hide and protect his technology. What he found, the technology works. No,
yes.
It doesn't work as good as he thinks it does or he says it does, but it absolutely positively works, and we use it a great deal. I have gold GANs here right now that's helping a great deal with my physical age regression. I have physical age regression going on myself, as well as a couple other people that are in the physical age regression aspect of bubble tech. We are youthing, and we are expecting it, and this is when we will disclose it to the world. We are expecting it to be in a matter of hours, that you would go from me like 70 years old back to 48 years old. That's the image that I'm asking to acquire. You know, it's all image management. And it's some quantum leap. I should do that, as well as the other people that are involved. There's no question that we will be able to do it. The other people involved have these channeled beings, you know, one of which is an ancient, very famous warrior, and the lady, I can't use your name or talk about the ancient warrior, but he and he are in the Yelm area, south of Seattle, south of Olympia. And he even said that to one of the pretty famous guys that are involved in doing this, that we would achieve physical age regression, you know, in a quantum leap. And he even admonished us you have to intend to retain your memories, which is true. If you don't intend to retain your memories, because those memories are held together by the duality of either love or fear, and that those emotions get supplanted by euphoria, those memories cease to exist, which is a good thing. There goes our karma. Memory and karma go hand in hand. History is a way to repeat it. That's why we teach ourselves history, so we do the same shit over again. It's just a set of images. And when you acquire, the minute you look at it in spirit, you look at anything for 3 seconds, there's a seamless merging. There's no you or I. It becomes part of your DNA. And that was one of the things that, like, once you've acquired your past, present, future in the Russian mirrors, then the next thing that happens is that you anything that you look at, you merge with, and there's no you or I. You know the past, present, future of that. So that was a question I had. How did that happen? Where does the information come from? And it is our DNA acting like an antenna, attracting all the other information, attracting it. That's gravity. Gravity is an affinity for information, and consciousness does that automatically. It's hard to shut the son of a bitch off, because you wind up in continuous knowing, all knowingness. That's standard. That every corpuscle in our body has that. Every rock. We don't. That was one of the ways I got onto this, was awareness, or how humans' awareness is abysmal. And also the spoken word, that's another skid mark design feature. We should be communicating telepathy. If we communicate by telepathy, there'd be no lies. And so no crime and no wars. And what spiritual teachers, major spiritual leaders on this planet ever taught telepathy? Answer, 0. None. Okay? If they did, we'd know, wouldn't we? And we wouldn't be in any kind of war at that point. We'd be free. But we're not supposed to be free. We're just idiots. Just puppets for the play. Die, sucker.
Mike, I have a question. So the technology that you developed, apparently, it shows some kind of efficacy for, perhaps, is it actually reversing age, or is it just stopping aging?
Well, ultimately, we want a quantum leap in physical age regression. Okay, what it's doing right now, is it just making 3 of us a whole lot younger. The lady that's involved is like 49 years old. She looks like 29, and the older guy, who's a kind of a movie star. He's also the professor of the CEO, the president of one of the largest universities in Ireland. He's 77, and he's running around like a spring chicken. I mean, he's really amazing. And me, I'm just getting visibly younger.
Yeah, we could see proof of that.
Have you noticed? Has anyone noticed their hair getting darker, like white hairs reverting back to dark hairs?
That happened to one of the other guys in Bubble Tech just recently. He's a Hispanic origin, and all of his hair turned red. And he had a huge big healing. I mean, he really had some major problems, and it's all gone now.
Could you comment a little bit about male pattern baldness? Because, I mean, there's one thing about activating the stem cells. There's the other thing with male pattern baldness is after the hair falls out for at least 6 months, skin grows over the follicles. And so can this actually be, do you find a way that this could be regenerated? Because this is one of the most difficult things to treat.
That was already done a long time ago by a guy named Dieter Josner in Germany. It's tech has been suppressed with 128 in like a hair dryer, but 128 LED laser light emitting diodes, and not only did he regrow hair, that's what the original idea was. Started regrowing brains on people that stroke and stuff. We got a brand new idiot. It's cool.
Are you going to put any kind of studies together, or is it all anecdotal reports and testimonials?
Yeah, well, the Bubble Tech, I'm not going to put any studies. It's not necessary. It works. What's going to happen is like what Chewy talked about, is there's going to be a shitload of money released. And I'm as close as close to that as is humanly possible. You know, and when I say a shitload of money, it's like ridiculous. All those previous civilizations that died out, they're all talking to one another and living in fear. So they laid up stores of gold. There's more gold, refined gold on this planet than there is steel. And where they hid it, like there's mountains in Switzerland full of gold. You know, this civilization, this crew, used Switzerland. Previous crews used the Philippines and Indonesia and China. King Solomon's treasure still exists. All these other treasures still exist. All this stuff is going to be disclosed. And all that money, it's all us. It's our money. It's the fruits. You could say it's the fruits of our forefathers. But it's actually the fruits of us as pure consciousness. We did that. Okay. And so all that's to be released. And so there'll be amazing stuff going on. All the technology, well, Trump said in his inaugural speech that all the technologies are going to be released, which, you know, what he's thinking about is what DARPA in the military is, you know, sequestered from hidden, you know, like free energy devices and the replicator. I know how to make the replicator. It's simple. You know, you got 7 image-only rounds. Okay, well, you got 7 analog amplifiers, you know, in bulbs that expand according to the Fibonacci series. And the way that you acquire the image information to go in there is with a Fogel transistor. You know what a Fogel transistor is? Just a transistor with a capacitance plate. And so the transistor picks up the information in the gap, in the capacitance gap. All right, so you make a really trick Fogel transistor where the capacitance plate is graphene, which is superconducting. You have 2 of them either side, and you have a vegetable chip in the middle. It will read your mind. It will read your mind. They used it just in plain ordinary back in 1963 to photograph the Russian missiles in Cuba after they had left. You know? On a U-2 plane. That's what happened. You know?
Mike, do you have any information on Vladimir Kalvison with the Russian peptides, the research that was done in the Soviet Union and on how to basically regenerate soldiers that were exposed to radiation in Chernobyl, which ultimately they found that technology could extend life?
Well, did you say peptides?
Yeah, the Russian peptides.
Oh, amazingly, I don't know that one. The Russians have a holographic healing system. You know, that's Arkady Petrov. You can look it up, and which is working. You know, regenerating organs in vivo. You know, and you know, they haven't got the regenerating arms. I've got a device, a physical age regression device, that'll regenerate. You know, your titanium hip will go back to natural material.
Wasn't Dr. Bob Beck working on something like that with with salamander research and trying to regrow limbs?
Yeah, I don't know how far he got with that. You know, everybody talks about the med bed, okay, and which exists. It's there, just like the replicators are there. You know, and maybe we'll get it from Area 51. I have actually a better technology called the Dream Machine, and you can look it up. You know, I've written it up. You know, in support of the physical age regression device on the academia thing. It's way down at the bottom there, but it explains. It's totally phenomenal. You know, the root building block of proteins is called glycine. It's nonpolar. It's nonpolar, and when you put it in a coherent field, it expands 30-fold. Glycine propagates or grows 30-fold over what normal does. Okay. Well, when you ionize an inert gas, which is the way the Dream Machine works, it's got an inert gas in there. When you ionize it, it creates a scalar field, which is nonpolar, scalar like figure-8 waves, but those fields, that nonpolar field, it's not really figure-8 waves because none of those waveforms actually cross the x-axis. So what you have is a series of half moons. That is a capacitor. They're capacitors, microcapacitors.
Wow.
You know? So you have access to all information right there, like every other capacitor.
Mhm.
Well, I'm I think we might need to be wrapping this up real soon. I want to ask one more question, and I'm done. Mike, what do you foresee the medical profession looking like in the future? I mean, obviously, health insurance is probably maybe going the way of the dinosaur, perhaps. Could you confirm that? Is that what you think might happen?
There won't even be any health food stores. There won't be any grocery stores.
Yeah,
There won't be any
health
agriculture. No all
agriculture.
gone. We got the flying platforms. We're having the Grebennikov effect. We're having the Grebennikov effect. We're not that far from making a flying platform. That eliminates all other form of transportation. And as far as the medical business is concerned, it'll be gardening. That's what they'll be doing. Gardening is good.
There'll be no need for any more pharmaceuticals.
Nothing. Zero.
Well, I'll put a lot of people out of work.
Well, they don't need to work. Because you got replicators. Everybody will have replicators. Hopefully, the replicators replicate themselves, but you won't need to work.
Okay.
Right. Hi.
And
I read,
When you want to work if there's no money.
What's that?
I read in the chat, Starcat Wendy. Oh, she has a testimony of bubble tech. She says, "Love you, Marilyn. Thank you so much, all of you, for helping us all help ourselves in our beautiful world. I have made 6 bubbles with bubble tech and have had such profound changes in my home and community. I watch the chemtrails disappear before my eyes and know that we are all making a real difference. Thank you, lovely souls." So, Wendy, if you're still here, would you want to speak up? We want to see you.
Well, Ron, you had a question?
No, I was just commenting back to James. I said, why in the hell would you want to work? He said that it put people out of work.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. When when they release all this money, everybody on planet Earth will get around 150 grand. Per year just for being alive. You won't have to work. Nobody will have to work. We'll only work because we want to.
What's that coming from? Jasara? Or Saint
Yeah,
Jenny?
Jasara, correct.
Okay.
And all of that money, then all those treasures I just described to you.
So yeah, you're connected to the top guns in the financial system, right? Is it the quantum, the QFS one, the new system that's being in place? Did you say, Mike?
Yeah, the quantum financial system is in place. I know that the people that caused it to happen. Chairman Mao's son reads my writings on physics. He controls the Chinese military, Chinese intelligence agency, and the PRC, People's Republic of China heritage funds, which are in place to remonetize the entire world. They're liquid. They're on balance sheet. They can be wired in the quadrillions. Like 200 zeros. Okay, that money's immediately available and will pay everybody and do everything without even tapping any of the rest of those amazing treasures.
Mike, is it the same? The elders of the dragon family of China, or the heritage ones? You're saying
there's 9 of them. There's nine dragon families. They are actually trustees of these ancient treasures. They think it's their own. The Chinese are a little bit greedy. They think it's their own, but no, it's not. They didn't create it. It was created by us. From any number of different places.
Cool. Right. I think we need to wrap up this meeting, James. Is there any question from the floor? Anybody else who wants to ask some questions?
Mike, why don't you go ahead and just plug in your website in again for us?
Oh, no, it's there. James is in our website, physics website. I put a link in there.
Okay, then go to physics website. Thank you.
Yeah. Right.
So academia? Yeah, academia, you'd be totally blown away.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, I'm the top 1/10 to 1% of 87 million researchers. Yeah.
Congratulations, Mike. Well done.
And nothing that I write is done in the scientific manner because it's bullshit anyway.
Yeah. We can get you to come back to speak again, Mike. Okay. So meanwhile, I think it's really very late in Europe now for people who need to work, like Pontus, Avin, and the rest. Right. So is there any other questions from anyone?
No, when will we get the video?
Oh, don't ask me that, Mike. When I'm free, I'll be able to process it because there's a lot of problems with the. Might have to do a bit of editing with the intro.
A lot of my people, I got a whole bunch of people that want this video.
Sure, I'll do that. I'll give you the link as soon as I've processed it. All right. So, James, do we go around the table or what? No, we can't because time is a constraint.
Well,
Oh yeah,
if anybody has anything they'd like to share, please do so now.
Tricia has got something to share. She has
Okay.
a quick report to do on the New Earth Festival, Sasha Stones at Bali, and she was there. Trish, would you make a quick report? Before Trish does that, Mike, we really are very grateful that you have come here today and speak at the 66 Physics meeting. Really appreciate you sharing your ideas. It's really mind-boggling and it's superb.
Yeah, well, the good news is we're going to break out of the matrix. First of all, but to do that, first of all, you got to admit that you're a fucking idiot. When you got that and you let go of all the ego and all the crap, then you're home. You know, and then you can have compassion for other things. But if you don't have any of that and you're in judgment or anything like that, you're gonna fucking die, idiot.
Well, the scientific community, they do
Yeah, right.
work
Physical
on the
integration is not
logical
possible. Sorry.
mindset. Yeah.
Free energy is not possible. Sorry. Levitation is not possible. Sorry. You know, what else shouldn't we know or be able to do?
All the textbooks are going to be obsolete. Most of written history have to be changed, rewritten.
The Tesla Utron. Once you have had enough rides in the Tesla Utron, you do not need the device anymore. You can go on your own.
I got news for you, James. Most of history is bullshit anyway. It's all fucking promulgated lies.
Yeah, that's right. And the thing about history is that it's held together by fear and love, duality. So it's all bullshit, every single bit of it. In the movie Above Majestic, you know, with David Wilcock and those guys, they had a piece in there, and they said, and what they said was that every word written in every book ever on this planet is misinformation. That's what they said. Huh?
That's putting it nicely.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That was
anyway, we're breaking out of that gap, that information gap, into being able to create euphoria on everything and change everything with euphoria, because it cuts off the love and fear and the memories associated with it. Expunges that's why the ancient warrior said very important to intend to retain your memories, because if you don't, you won't.
That statement there was aimed at a G-rated audience, you know, of about 8-year-olds, like television has been aimed at since the 50s.
Yeah. I didn't quite hear that. Say again.
I said that statement of theirs about everything written in the books was rated, you know, it was aimed at an 8-year-old audience, which is the same age range that television has been aimed at since the 1950s.
Yeah. Well, what's really amazing is that the anu that is the size of us can store 48 minutes of a sequence of events. You know, television programs in the States are 48 minutes long when you cut the commercials out. Yeah, excuse me. Somebody knows what's going on.
They used to be, what was it, 57 minutes. 3 minutes of commercials were allowed for an hour.
Yeah. Well, now it's 48.
Thanks to the FCC.
So anyway, there's big money coming, and all of these projects that we're going to do, I'm going to have, you know, you want to do free energy? Come on along with me. We're going to have a whole bunch of people doing free energy. We will be manufacturing these things robotically, hopefully, or 3D printing them, and giving them away to the universe as fast as we can. The flying platforms, well, I know that we can 3D print them, with what we've already done that creates the Grebennikov effect. That is 3D printable. The aluminum and beeswax, absolutely.
Mike, rather than us going to you, why don't you bring your people here to visit, to join us?
Do what?
Well, we are doing the same thing. We are open sourcing, So why don't you bring your people here to visit?
Excuse me. Reno, Lake Tahoe is where the new U.S. Treasury is. It's also where there's an NSA unit there. There's 500 guys with guns and badges on my side. Okay? Excuse me. I'm going there. You can come along if you want.
Destin, Florida will be the new capital of planet Earth.
Excuse me?
Oh, this is Smarty, John Mendes.
Destin, Florida will be the new capital of planet Earth.
Whatever. During the next little bit of time, Reno is going to be the center of the Earth. Because that's where all the money comes through. The Chinese they were in Reno when they started the quantum financial system. That's where it started.
I know. I got the heat on them.
The biggest little city in the world.
Yeah.
Like I said, Destin, Florida will be the new capital of planet Earth. That's where the portal's at with 1,000 doors in it.
Mm-hmm.
Once I get there, we'll see what's what, who's really in charge.
Mm-hmm. Well, all of us, are in charge. It's always hive mind, and the 100 Diddy effect always applies.
Mike, I want to build a giant biodome in the desert near Fallon.
I would wait to put your money into things into you start seeing what comes out of Destin, because a lot of the stuff you talk about is already here, and there's a bunch of ships with cargo on it waiting for my arrival to Destin, Florida. You can take that to the bank, and if you got real intel, you like to do a lot of research, go ahead and contact your buddies in NSA and ask them about me.
Okay, well.
We're going to have lots of fun. I'm excited.
Oh yeah, big changes coming.
Sure, for sure.
Crystal, are you there?
Yeah, if anybody wants to make free energy devices, the Tesla Lutron, the flying platforms, and you want to come along and contribute in Lake Tahoe is where we'll be, and we'll have plenty of accommodation. You're plenty welcome to come along. There'll be lots of room, no problem.
Oh, I'll talk with you about that, Mike. So I need to ask Tricia now. Tricia, would you want to come in and make a quick short report? I've asked you before. I don't know if you're here, whether you can hear me. Pontus, would you unmute her, please?
I have tried to, but I can't.
You can't. Oh, neither can I.
Can I beg you guys' pardon and go to another call here?
Hi. Oh, you have another call to go to?
Yeah, pretty important.
Oh, okay, Mike. Of course. And thank you so much, Mike. And there being no other questions and no other business, this meeting is now adjourned to the 67th meeting on the 7th of August. And thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Mike, for giving us such a wonderful idea about what's ticking in your own mind. It's so amazing. Thank you.
No, it's not my mind. I'm not doing this shit. All you idiots are doing it. I'm just the cowboy asshole mouthpiece, telling it like it is.
All right. So thank you, everyone, for choosing to be with us today. So now I think that's it. Meetings. We're adjourned to the next meeting. I would like to check,
Okay, see you later. Bye.